Hi, friends. We created a 7-day Brighter Challenge. It's a self-love reset to help you gently reconnect with yourself in this season of life. Please sign up for a newsletter to get this free download and start your reset with us.
Just head to chasingbrighter.com/newsletter for details and to subscribe.
Welcome back, everyone, to Chasing Brighter, the podcast created as a guide to living brighter, more connected, and real, because real is the new perfect.
February around here is all about resetting, resting, and reconnecting. And today we're starting with the foundation of it all, your nervous system.
Because if you're feeling irritable, exhausted, numb, overwhelmed, or like you're running on fumes, it's probably not a motivation problem. It's a regulation problem. I know I have this problem.
My nervous system is fried, and that's probably one of the reasons why on my podcast, Healing is My Hobby, it's all about regulating in a dysregulated world, but just because we feel fried right now, Kelly, the good news is resetting our nervous system does not require a new morning routine, a cold plunge, or reinventing your entire life. Looking at it through a seasonal shift, winter already asks us to slow down. Nature resets. The days are shorter. Energy is lower. But we often fight that instead of honoring it.
We expect ourselves to be operating at a spring level productivity with a winter body.
Yeah. So if you felt more tired, less motivated, or more emotionally sensitive lately, it is not failure, it's biology. And we want to look at it like fixing yourself versus regulating yourself. It's not fixing yourself. It's about regulation. So there is a big distinction between both of those two. And we just want to talk about it more in a loving tone.
I like that, Jess. I think the one thing is because fixing yourself makes it feel like something is wrong with you. And that is not our intention. Not my intention for myself. I don't like to hear I need to fix myself.
And when you think about it, regulating says my nervous system is responding to stress and it needs support.
And that feeling like you have to fix something, that comes with shame, where the other one about regulating really comes with compassion.
Yeah. I just want to talk about a little bit about signs that your nervous system needs a reset, just kind of reviewing some common signs. One, you're more irritable than usual. Check for me. You feel emotionally flat or checked out. You're exhausted, but at the same time feel wired.
Mm-hmm.
Everything feels like too much. For me, with getting in a car accident recently, you know how we've talked about with trauma. Kelly and I read a lot of books on trauma. Your body keeps a score. I read What Happened to You. We can be triggered indefinitely. And so after the car accident, I felt like 5 days later, I was still, right? Everything just felt like too much for me still.
Well, I've been trying to, even for me having perpetual kind of like struggling with anxiety, I always think about that, like when I start to feel inside, like starting to feel like nervous or like not like keyed up is the word I would use.
For me, it's almost like heartburn. I don't know, like I feel it in my chest, like that you can't settle. Yeah.
Well, and I've also started to feel it just in my gut. Like if I start feeling like a lot of stress and stuff, which is so weird, it's like shifting for my body. The other thing is that even talking with my teen where it's like, hey, buddy, like if you start, because it's like I don't know if you have that problem where it's like, you don't need to yell. Like that, what you just said was not necessary to like bite my head off. And so it's like trying to be like, hey, when you feel that, like take a minute. Right?
Yeah.
Which I know we're going to talk about what are the things, some of those great rituals, and I can't wait to share them. But really what we're talking about, none of this means that you're broken. It just means your system has been doing a lot of protecting. And it's sort of like for you to think about us to kind of key in on that inner knowing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this is happening and you need to kind of give it some attention.
Yes. And I love we want to focus on micro resets, not like full life overhauls. That reminds me, I know in season 3, we talked a lot about micro joys and you called them glimmers. So,
Yes.
we're busy women. And so we love anything micro. We don't need
Yes.
dramatic change, just small micro resets.
Yeah. These are like small, what we want to share with everyone is these small little moments that tells your body you're safe, which
Yeah.
sounds so calming, even just hearing that. I need to
Yes.
tell myself that more.
Yes. And I was very excited when we were creating this. And so we have a lot. So we're going to break it down for you because I like a lot of options, like a menu of sorts. So we want to offer you first just 3 to 5 minute daily reset rituals. We created simple resets focused in 4 areas: breath, body, environment, and mental/emotional. So we encourage you just to pick one.
Yeah. And the reason why we're sharing all these options is because it's the idea of what is more accessible to you in a moment. So it's not to overwhelm you. But again, it's the idea that maybe different days you have different experiences or different nervous system kind of moments.
Yeah. Yeah. So, starting with breath, one idea is a physiological sigh for 2 to 3 minutes, where you inhale through your nose, pause briefly, then take a second sip of air, and then a long exhale through the mouth. And this signals safety to the nervous system quickly. So, when we breathe in through the nose to account and breathe out through the mouth longer, that activates our parasympathetic nervous system.
So another one is hand on the chest breathing. So you put one hand on your chest, one on your belly, and just breathe naturally. Because part of this is touch matters just as much as your breath. And think about that again. What we're trying to do is even tell our body like you're safe.
Yeah. And like we talked about too, feeling it in our chest, right? So touching the air, we're feeling it. And we're also feeling it in our gut. The vagus nerve connects the brain to the gut, right? And so we're feeling it in those
Mm-hmm.
areas as well. So it's nice to touch where we're feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
Another idea that we have is an audible exhale, like a sigh, hum, or soft. We do that in yoga or Pilates. They have us breathe in and then, and so just that sigh. I'm trying on healing is my hobby. I have the healing lab and I was trying this month humming. So I've been a weirdo because it really is soothing and different vibrations hit our brain differently. And I've just been kind of going, every once in a while. And that it really is calming. And those are super accessible, right? You don't have to do anything. You don't need equipment. You can do this in your car. We're driving these kids all over the place. You can do this anytime.
I love those. So the first kind of section of our menu is about breathing reset. So we talked about a sigh, hand on the chest, and an audible exhale. So now we're going to move to body resets, which is about grounding. So one idea or one menu option could be wall leaning, where you stand with your back against the wall. You feel that support throughout your back against the wall. And it can remind our body, it sort of triggers our body that we're being held.
I
So I
like
love
that
that.
one. Shoulder drop reset, where you inhale, lift your shoulders to your ears, exhale, drop them, and you repeat that 3 times. This releases stored tension fast.
Another one is a temperature reset. So maybe you want to hold something warm, which is what I'm doing right now with a warm mug of tea. Or maybe it's cold, like a cold water on your wrists. Jess, I even take a moment sometimes in the mornings where I splash my face with cold
Cold
water.
water, yeah.
That's honest, think about movies, right? And some of the scenes where people splash people with a bout of cold water.
Yeah.
It's a really strong sensation cue for regulation.
Yeah. So those 3 simple options: leaning on a wall, pulling your shoulders up to your ears and releasing, and sensory cue with different temperatures. And that helps us move on to our next idea, which is that external cues for safety and environment reset. I love the first one, light shift. I am all about lighting. If you come to my office, there are lamps everywhere and no overhead light. And so one of the things we can do is turn off overhead lights. use a lamp or natural light because overhead lighting is surprisingly activating. And what we're trying to do, right, is calm our nervous system. So maybe lowering lights in a room.
I love your office in that way. It is very calming. Another example of this is, stepping outside. So an outside pause. So stepping outside, even as just a doorway for fresh air. It's an instant sensory reset. I actually really like this one, especially in Chicago when we're kind of coming out of this really deep, cold winter and it's been in the 30s and 40s. It's really nice to take a moment to go outside and even just take in a breath of fresh air. Maybe it's not 100% fresh in the city, but I feel like it's fresh. And just, I do that once in a while where I just like literally walk out my door, take a couple breaths. It's usually because I'm grabbing a package or something even. But standing out there for a moment and just looking around, I find that to be a really great reset.
Yeah. Yeah. I love my office. I've been here a year now, but I do have a door immediately outside. So when I hear you talking about that, it's like after we record, I think I should just open the door and step outside for a
It's
few
like, oh,
seconds.
wait, there's a whole world happening inside.
Yes.
Like you spend
Yes.
all day in the office.
Yeah. And finally, for our environmental cues, a visual anchor. Look around and name 3 neutral or pleasant things that you see and just identify them. And this brings our attention out of spiraling.
That's a good one. I'd like to try that one. Okay, so environmental resets. We had turning off overhead lights or things that are really bright, maybe using natural light or a lamp, outside pause, and a visual anchor where we're looking at neutral or 3 neutral or pleasant things. And so now our final section is about mental and emotional resets. These are like low cognitive load resets. Very short, quick moments. So one of the things that I feel like is so fundamental to part of my own work I've done is name it to tame it, which is 1 minute of, spending 1 minute as name it to tame it. So quietly say to yourself, like, I feel overwhelmed right now. And really putting a name to it. It is a crazy thing. It does help reduce that emotional intensity. And part of it is it's like taking that minute to be like, what am I feeling? And really identifying it. Helps us be like, oh, I'm just feeling this. It kind of separates us away from like what it is versus what we're feeling.
Yeah. A second option is a permission phrase. So you can say, nothing needs to be solved in this moment. I know you and I both are problem solvers and we like to fix things right away. We don't sit necessarily in the process long enough. So I love that because it de-escalates urgency. And so it just gives us a moment like, look, we can just take this off our plate right now.
Yes. I love that. Our final reset on the mental and emotional topic is a 1-question check-in. This one's really cool. I like this one, which is what would help me feel 5% better right now? So this is the idea of like, just a small, like, again, a little micro joy in a way.
Yeah.
But what is that small little thing you can do to make you feel a little bit better? Because sometimes we get in these moments where something happens that feels really bad and it feels overwhelming in this moment. And it's sort of like, what can I do right now to sort of get myself out of that, right? What can I do that's just a little bit of a 5% better thing? And so it just kind of has us reset what's happening in that moment.
Yeah. And so just summarizing our mental and emotional resets, name it to tame it, give yourself permission, right, to not solve it right now, and ask yourself a quick question on what would make it better just a little tiny bit. And then those were 3 to 5 minute options. And so we also have extra gentle options for very high stress days. And one of those options is sit or lie down and do nothing for 90 seconds.
I love that one, Jess. I did just finish Atomic Habits and they said you can do anything for 2 minutes. So even 90 seconds, I think, is really helpful.
Yeah.
One is because we all need to do it anyway, which is to drink a full glass of water slowly. I love these are like emergency situations that you're like, I don't know. I just spaced out on everything Kelly and Jess said. And so just remember these 3 in case of emergency. Yeah.
Just lay down.
Lay down and don't do anything and drink some water. Drink a glass of water, but slowly.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't drink
Slowly.
it quickly.
And finally, close your eyes and just feel your breath without changing it. And like we're talking about, these resets aren't meant to fix you. They are meant to remind your nervous system that it's safe enough to soften just a little.
Again, all of these, right, are coming from love, kindness, and compassion for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So these are not self-care luxuries, right? They don't blow the budget. They don't feel anything that you need to. This is about a very easy way for you to take care of your nervous system. It's good maintenance.
And later on this month, we are going to be talking about reconnecting with yourself. And a simple way that you can reconnect with yourself is just a question you can ask yourself daily. And so we encourage you to ask yourself, what does my nervous system need right now? Not what should I do, but what does my body need?
I love that. I think because sometimes we always think about all of our to-dos and all the things we need to get done on a daily basis, and instead really take a moment and hear ourselves, hear our body and what it needs. And it doesn't, as we talk through, it doesn't take a lot of time. So today's permission slip, it's very simple, everyone. I don't have to be at my best to begin again. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
This is about also just kind of showing up and giving yourself that moment.
You don't have to wait for everything to be just right to do any of these things. Reset doesn't mean starting over. It means returning to yourself.
So this reset is a wonderful key foundation for everything else this month and everything that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, next week we're going to be talking about rest without guilt because you don't have to earn your humanity.
So thank you so much for listening. Please try some of these. Let us know what you think. If you'd like to stay connected and learn more, or maybe you forget some of the menus, please check out our blog, which is at chasingbrighter.com. And don't forget to also catch up on everything with our newsletter. That is chasingbrighter.com/newsletter. It's also on our landing page. Please sign up for it because we have a lot of really fun things that we're sharing.
If you want to see what we're loving, what we're learning, and how we're living a little brighter day by day, come hang out with us on social media at Chasing Brighter. Thanks for spending part of your day with us.